Hey, Steven here with CGB Breakdown. I'm going to give you guys a quick overview of the tail setup that we use in our characters here. This is a setup I've only seen in Victor's rigs. I wish it was used more often because it's a very animator-friendly setup and gives you the flexibility to work in multiple different ways. So let me just bring in the Tyrannus character here and we'll take a look at it. So you can see by default, he has 3 controls visible, and these would behave how you would expect any tail setup to behave, really. But where this gets interesting is I don't have to animate with 3 controls if I don't want to. I can actually pick and choose how many controls I want to drive the shape of the tail. So if you grab any control, you see this attribute called sub FK controls. If we turn that on, it's going to show us all the controls that we have available to animate with. And how they work right now, the difference in size means that these bigger ones are the ones that are driving the rotation of the tail, and these smaller ones are inheriting the rotation values from the bigger control that's closest to it, or closest up the chain to it. So we can select any of these to be a driving controller. And how we do that, let's take these guys out. How we do that is this auto rotate attribute. So these guys are set to 0 right now, meaning you have to rotate it. So let's change those to 1, and they'll pop back to being automatically rotated, which means this base control is actually going to rotate the entire tail right now. And we can select new controls. So let's say I go like this, and I'm going to change these guys auto rotate to 0. Now we have 4 controls. And one other attribute we're going to want to change is this stay visible. So we're going to change that to 1. And we'll probably have to change the other 2 to 0 so they don't stay visible. And then any control again, we'll turn off the sub FK controls, and there we go. Now we have 4 controls we can use to control the shape of the tail. And then if we do our animation and we decide, oh, you know what? I really want like some more control over the tip because it needs a little more rotation on it. And this one control is just not cutting it. Well, we can simply add that in. We'll just turn this back on. Maybe we want to add this guy to it as well. So we'll turn off the auto rotate. We'll turn on the stay visible, and then we will turn these guys back off, and now you can go on top and start animating this guy from right here. You can also translate these guys. So when you translate these controls, it keeps the shape after it as it is. So this is good if you want to keep the shape of your tail, but you want to extend it out, or just change a section of it. We also have this tweak attribute right here. If you turn that on, then you get these IK controls, which you can use to actually shape the control, the tail using IK controls. So there's a ton of flexibility, especially when it comes to kind of getting to the polish phase of things to add a little bit of detail. But the important thing to remember is that you're totally free to use whatever workflow works for you, and as much or as little detail as you need. It's really easy to add that in and change later on. So there you go. I hope you give it a try, and happy animating.